Hello, everyone. Brian Trampler here with Blackbox. Welcome to our first LinkedIn Live. I feel like I should have some applause here because we're doing our first LinkedIn Live. Hopefully, everybody is having a great day today. Here in wonderful, rainy Denver, Colorado, we are enjoying a nice fall day. So I hope everybody is having a good time. Go ahead and if you have a chance, say hello in the comments. We'd love to know who all is joining and watching live. LinkedIn Live is a great tool. It gives us a great way to reach out to our customers and provide really valuable and timely information on what we believe at Blackbox are the key impact drivers in various industries. Today, we're going to be talking about customer experience and call center technology and a couple of things that we feel are very important to talk about. One thing to note, we are doing this over LinkedIn Live. We're going to be continuing to do LinkedIn Live sessions on various Blackbox capabilities and subjects. But next year in the US, because we know LinkedIn Live is a global platform, we'll be taking this type of event on the road. So we want to hear you vote for your favorite cities in the comments. And if you're listening to this after the live event, please feel free to let us know your favorite cities in the comments after the event. Again, for customer experience, we're coming to a city near you, depending on what cities are chosen to talk about customer experience. We're going to bring a panel to those discussions that really is going to focus on capabilities and technology discussions, some things to think about in the industry, some key performance type of capabilities, really again to help educate all of our customer experience users on different things that we feel are very important and relevant to the industry. So again, please feel free to put your cities of choice in the comments so that we can come to a city near you. And after the live event, please feel free to add that in the comments as well. Let me introduce myself. I'm Brian Trampler. I've been in the customer experience or call center world since the late 1990s, actually starting as a customer experience call center technician. I was one of those folks picking up the phone or sitting on a headset answering calls. I quickly moved into a management role in that call center world. I worked the 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift, so the third shift, so to speak, in the call center world when I first started out. And at the end of my shift, when I became a manager, I was responsible for creating the schedule for the next day for all the people who came in on a wonderful Excel spreadsheet. That's how long ago my call center world started. I moved into product management shortly after that and spent quite a long time in product management looking at various capabilities and technologies, especially around collaboration and communication, but always had call center experience in the background so that I could relate to, even when we were doing technology, how potentially that technology would be supported in the call center. So I worked with the call center quite frequently to make sure that they had the information that they needed. Remember those big fat books of content that you would use and you would leaf through to find out what the most relevant or latest issues were, and when that wasn't an issue, you'd tear it out of the book and put it in another page, and hopefully that page would be relevant for a little while. And then that all went online, right? So when I finished my stint in product management, I was very much focused on helping sales to sell the products and services. And today at Blackbox, I am the senior manager for product and strategy for our digital workplace and customer experience platforms. So today, of course, we're going to be talking about customer experience. As I mentioned, it really allows me, with my background, to look at the entire customer experience ecosystem. I can listen to customers for feedback and prepare roadmap and strategy based on those needs and desires. One thing I want to let you know about Blackbox is a trusted IT solutions provider delivering cutting-edge technology solutions and world-class consulting services to businesses across the globe. The breadth of our global reach, continuous innovation, and depth of our expertise accelerates customer success by bringing people, ideas, and technology together to solve real-world business problems. Our IT infrastructure solutions, services, and products enable secure, flawless connectivity and meaningful collaboration for businesses in every major market across 6 continents. Yes, we are a global company. We're happy to be so. We are very pleased to be offering all of our IT services and capabilities to you. So I'm going to jump into our conversation about customer experience, but I do want to start with some terms that might come up. Brand is a term that you might hear me reference now and again when we're talking about customer experience or call center. That really for us is the image that your company presents to the world, that stamp of individuality that makes your customers differentiate you from all the others, not just product, but the services, the information, and the technology behind what your brand creates to customers that you see you from the outside. Customer journey is another term. That's the way that customers interact with your brand. So if you think about it, the way that you look on the website, the way that you answer the phone, the way that you present yourself on social media, that's all part of the customer journey. You're creating that brand awareness for your customer through all those different portals. Service journey is the way that your agent community or sales or anyone else interacts with the customer. So when they're working with a customer via a social media app, responding to questions, getting an email via the website, if you have a chat bot on your website and they're reaching out to you via that, the person that's answering those questions, they're working with that customer via their service journey, making sure that they're communicating what the customer needs at that moment. Another term, customer experience management. So when we look at the management of customer experience, we're talking about the process of evaluating customer interactions through every physical and digital touch point, any way that they come to you. Its purpose is to deliver personalized experiences that drive brand loyalty and increase revenue for the organization. This process is more than serving customers. Again, this is all about making sure that the tools, the processes, the training, the KPIs, key performance indicators, all of that information that they have in front of them is all towards the goal of driving customer satisfaction. Few more terms. IVR, interactive voice response. That's when you call into a help desk or a call center and you hear that voice on the other end ask you to explain what you're trying to do. Workforce management is the tools and capabilities that allow you to manage your workforce, i.e. your agents. Workforce optimization, or WFO, is the way that you schedule the people in your agent pool. Again, remember I mentioned that spreadsheet that I used many, many years ago. There are tools and capabilities now that provide you what you need to be able to do to right size that at any time. So from a black box perspective, when we look at customer experience, we like to focus on what we call GPS. And GPS is really how we look at our customer experience practice. It is much like the GPS that you're familiar with on your phone, in your car, that allows you to see where you are at any point in your journey. If you think about it, GPS is a triangulation, right? And you could be sitting inside that triangle and the cell towers or the satellites that know where you are can do that because of where you sit inside that triangle. Well, GPS for us in CX is exactly the same thing. You could be closer to needing guidance, looking for somebody to provide you the right advice. For us, that really is something around technology. Technology can transform every facet of your customer experience journey. When you're looking for a partner, a committed partner with a dedicated focus on your brand and culture can optimize and accelerate your journey to service excellence. So that is when we look at guidance, we're looking at the software, the tools, the training, the processes that you have in place to create your own customer experience or service journey. P stands for platform. Platform is providing the right solution at the right time. That gives you the technology to realize the best customer and employee outcomes. That's based on recommendations of our engineers or our solution analysts who possess a deep knowledge of the capabilities of multiple premise and cloud contact center platforms. And then finally, the S stands for services. That's providing the right resources when you need them. Sometimes you just need a chatbot or a simple data integration to a legacy database. We can provide developers and engineering resources who are ready to assist on the smallest app or bot, cloud IVR, or data and platform integration, especially when out of the box isn't right for your brand. So the focus today of our broadcast is tied to the perception of the call center, and we talked about it in the description. A call center invokes an image of multiple headset donning cubicle workers, again, that was me at one time, performing product line order taking. Many organizations bristle at this image and mindset. So for these organizations, how can call center fundamentals and technology help provide better customer service? So when we talk about the call center and those capabilities, we're also talking about contact center or omnichannel support. Those are all tools and capabilities that encompass today's modern call center. And when you think about it, even though we say that, you may be looking at this production line team that's sitting there with their head in the cubicle answering all these questions, it really is very closely related to a sophisticated manufacturing operation. If you think about it, we're manufacturing completed interactions. We're utilizing just-in-time knowledge management applications that give us, feedback on what are the top 10 questions of the day? What are we tracking? What did the new software release? What are the issues that we're seeing on that new software release? We match that supply, the knowledgeable staff and self-service operations with demand, all the inbound customer interactions, and we're closely tracking the service levels and quality. If that doesn't look a little bit like manufacturing to you, it does to me very much, because we're constantly recreating and re-innovating and repurposing knowledge and capabilities so that we can provide our customers, again, the information that they need at the time that they need it. It might help a little bit while we're talking about the call center to dive a little bit into the history of the call center over the past 30 or so years. So, in the 1990s and a little bit earlier than that, the call center first took root, right? Support that for many years was offered face-to-face by walking into your local shopping center, big box store, department store, moved into a centrally located call center. This allowed the company offering support to assure that they could create consistency in both the responses and in the information gathered. Again, remember that big black notebook that I talked about. That early experience quickly added email and messaging to the experience in the early 2000s, thus creating the contact center. So we moved from a call center where it was all voice to a contact center where now you were not just calling and using voice, but you were submitting emails or messages potentially to the company that you were interacting with, and they were responding back via email or via message as well. That shift in naming was really conventional, as I said, because the phone became just one more of the many ways to reach the support team. It didn't change the need, it just added more ways for us to reach that team. In around the 2010s, we started to talk about multi-channel. The term multi-channel was introduced to the contact center. Many different ways to reach support became available. They were all different experiences, and there might be different teams on the back end managing the flow of those support contacts, so consistency could become a problem. You also needed to make sure that the person managing a chat was providing a great and sensible and sometimes even coherent interaction with your customer. Because of the inconsistency presented over all the different media types, something needed to change. So we started to look at what tools did those agents need in front of them to be able to provide that consistent response. The next thing that came around in that decade was omnichannel, a way to assure the consistency in the delivery of support across all of those different support mechanisms. Consistent responses came into focus, looking at making the support experience the same no matter where the customer started their quest for support, that customer journey. And some of this started to see automation and how we are. You also started to see the development of customer journey map, really defining customer experience, creating an interactive map that allowed you to see how you are interacting with the customer and their history with your brand. And more data analysis and automation were developed to move the easiest calls to standard rote responses, not necessarily automated responses yet, but we were moving in that direction. And then finally, today we've landed on customer experience or customer experience as a service, where these systems that provide support have become cloud-based, easy to integrate with your other customer information systems, and you have the ability to limit the technology and access to the tools required by your specific needs. So maybe you have a group of agents that are specifically responding to social interactions, social media being WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it. Any of those social apps that you use to communicate with a company or a brand. That customer experience now, it's not just one solution or platform. It's really about bringing a set of tools and processes together, specifically integrated to target your particular brand and their message. So now we look at that and we say, okay, so the call centers shifted over time to the customer experience center. How can I use those tools really in my day-to-day business to start really looking at how I interact? So the more appropriate question may be, can those contact center fundamentals and technology help me to provide a better service to our customers? We can take a look at that. Think about some of the ways that you interact with your customers. Though we've seen a real uptick in other platforms and other capabilities, believe it or not, and this is somewhat age specific, voice is still the predominant way that customers interact with a brand today. I believe the latest stats I saw said somewhere around 30 to 40% still interact via voice, and especially after the pandemic. We found a lot of that shift. The pandemic quickly shifted customer expectations. It empowered the shopper or the customer to shop at sites or brands that match their own values. But they keep that relationship in place with a company that delivers what they promised and provides them with that extra care. So that's part of the customer journey, knowing the customer and their experience to date with their brand, and support, showing empathy and an ability to adapt to the customer need regardless of their experience with that brand. It may be their first interaction, it may be their 100th interaction. We have to be able to provide that empathy, and that integration of data that pops up in front of the agent is key at all times. That's why customer experience now becomes more of a competitive advantage. and a way to differentiate yourself from any of the other competitors that you have out there in your environment today. But what you need to be able to do is you need to integrate that data into platforms, right? The agent needs to see, where has that customer been in their journey? How often have they come? You know, a lot of times I'll get greeted when I call in. Hi, Brian. We're glad that you've been a customer for 10 years. That tells you that they're looking at the data of all of my interaction with them over a time. That's very valuable information for the agent, because it shows them that that customer has experience with your brand, and maybe they don't need to launch into the most basic troubleshooting if they're troubleshooting an issue, or they don't need to explain what the brand is all about, right? They can move on to more important, compelling information that the customer needs at that time. So making sure that you're using that data about how the customers interact with your team, how we provide that, really gives them that relationship satisfaction. A couple of other things to think about when we talk about the activities that the service personnel have to complete. Now, we finished the call, we've gotten everything done, and now we have some call end time where we need to document information or provide information out to other agents. Maybe it was a brand new issue that popped up, and we need to close up the call and provide documentation, consultation, feedback. All of those different things are capabilities that we want to be able to provide. Now think about the services as well that those personnel have to complete. When you're looking at your workforce optimization, you have to make sure that there are breaks allotted in the schedule for those agents. You need to make sure that there's ongoing training time if they need to do case research or troubleshooting outside of a normal call when they're not answering the phone. That all has to be allowed for, and you need to be able to schedule that. So the workforce management and workforce optimization tools that you think would only be used in a call center may benefit you as well. Now, we talked a little bit about IVR, right? And how we get customers to the right place at the right time. So are there unique skill sets required to handle different types of customer interactions? If the answer to that is yes, then obviously getting the call, email, chat, text, social interaction to the right resource as quickly as possible is a critical component of that customer satisfaction. That's where you think about adding things like that voice-enabled IVR, or blending and prioritizing all the media types, all the incoming support, and making sure that it gets delivered to the agent that can best support that via skills-based routing technology, making sure they're in the right queue to be able to respond to that chat, to that voice call, to that email. And also making sure that that agent is trained in the best way to respond to the mode that they're utilizing. A person who answers voice calls and has a very empathetic voice may not be the best person to answer an email or a chat or a social media interaction. So you want to make sure that there's ongoing training in place. Again, allowing for that training time within the schedule to make sure that you're constantly looking at how to upskill your agents, make them better, and make them more representative of your brand. Something that we like to say is that customer support management, again, you heard me talk about it at the beginning, is really the art and science of getting the right number of people in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. Make sure that those arrival patterns are understood, that you see that information as it comes in, that you can look at creating schedules that match that incoming and outgoing information. Anytime you have a mismatch, you're either going to have inefficient use of your resources, i.e. the agents, or you're going to be providing bad or poor customer experience because the wait times lengthen or the like. So that brings up an interesting one. I'll never have a machine talk to my customers. We sometimes hear that from customers that are focused on, I'm not a call center. I don't want to be perceived as a call center, and that's why I'll never have a machine talk to my customers. But if your customers are listening to a voice saying you're 10th in line and your queue will, the next agent will be available in 30 minutes or whatever it is, guess what? Inside of that IVR, instead of moving them to a bot that potentially could help them find a solution, or giving them a message that allows them to enter their phone number for a callback, you're forcing them into talking with the machine. That machine is only talking to them, not talking with them, but you really have forced them into that inefficient queue. And you never want to leave a customer on the hook with a line that either just rings and rings, or that is constantly coming back and saying, you have 5 minutes left in the queue, or so on. You want to make sure that if you have the technology, you can use artificial intelligence, intelligent voice response, or intelligent AI to help the customer self-serve or self-help themselves. If you're leaving them in that queue, you're giving them a response that they have no control over. So think about how you could add self-help to your IVR, or maybe an ability to request a callback. Being able to schedule an appointment request when customers call so that they can be reached at a time of their convenience. Or, in the medical field, maybe allowing them to schedule via an IVR and listen to times that are available. And they can do all that without ever having to talk to an agent. That sort of leaves us to the end here, and what I'd really like to make sure that you come away with when we talk about call center and why you may not want to be perceived as one, but the tools that you can leverage for a call center might benefit you in your business, is a call center is not transactional. A lot of people, again, you picture those agents sitting there in a line with a computer in their face, responding just to the information in front of them. That's just a transaction. A call center is relational. You're building a relationship with your customers. You're building a relationship with your brand. You're giving your customers the awareness that you are empathetic to their problems, that you will provide them the information that they need, that you can give them the tools that allow them to go and look for those answers themselves, or provide them the information on where to go on the website to purchase that widget or key shopping item that they're really looking for. So think about any of these customer touch points as relational instead of transactional, and you'll see why more and more the tools of the call center may benefit your business overall. I'm going to go here and I'm going to look over at another screen. So I apologize for looking over at this other screen. I'm going to answer a couple of questions that it looks like have come in during the call here. One, what is the first step I should take when introducing contact center fundamentals and technology? I think we talked about that a little bit, but make sure everyone knows the goal is to have the right agent in the right place at the right time, like we talked about. This is the art and science of making sure that you're putting the people in position that can answer that question, and they're doing it the right way to make sure that your brand looks the best to that customer at that time. Another question that we had come in, how do I assure my staff I'm not trying to turn our customer service department into a call center? That's a good one. You want to make sure when you're talking to your agents that you're talking about the quality of the interactions, not necessarily the quantity. Yes, you want to get first call resolution in. You want to make sure that you're responding to the customers, getting them off the line so you can get to the next one as quickly as possible. But again, this is a relationship. It's not just a transaction. So make sure that you're focusing on that customer relationship and not just on the transaction. Any other questions I'm looking to see? It doesn't look like I have any. If you do have any, go ahead and please put those in the comments right now. We're happy to respond to that. A couple of last things that I'll talk about here, just when we're looking at the call center. I really do want you to look at your call center or your customer experience as a service, as a competitive advantage in your industry, regardless of what you call your customer service organization: call center, contact center, customer experience center, or any of those terms, that you're investing in the technology that allows you to measure and manage that service that you're delivering to customers. The majority of the majority of companies really do today compete primarily on the basis of customer service. And if you think about it, a little increase in retention via that customer service line, we talk about it in percentage points, a 5% increase can increase profits by 25 to 95%. If I leave you with one thought today, it really is that. Make sure that your customer experience and the way that you interact with customers allows you to generate additional revenue. Don't look at your contact center or your call center as a cost. Look at it as a revenue generator and look at the tools that can help you generate more revenue in the future. With that, I want to say thank you again. We're happy that you joined LinkedIn Live today here to listen to our chat on customer experience and the call center world, and why the call center really should be looked at as more than just that place where service goes to die. It really is a revenue generation machine, and it really can differentiate you from your customers. Thank you again. I hope you have a great day, and we hope to see you again here soon at Blackbox.